So, hello everyone. Let's start, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vitaly Trifonov. I am Deputy Head of Digital Forensic Lab at Singapore. And now I'll talk you about incident response, about our experience in incident response, about our proven practice from incident response. And I will concentrate on difference between expectation and reality. About this webinar, you can ask any questions via webinar menu, and I'll ask it. I'll answer them after the webinar, and the recording of this webinar will be sent to you, so you could be read it. It could be like a reminder for you. About Group IB, Group IB is a company previously based in Russia. Now we're based in Singapore. We are official partner of Interpol, Europol. We are recommended by OBSE, and we're concentrating on investigations. We develop products which can help our clients to protect themselves from hackers, most of all. And there are a lot of more than 1,000 successful investigations where we have been involved. And our main mission is to save our clients, to save money of our clients. So what about incident response process? Incident response process contains several steps. It starts from security measures, which could be involved before incident. Then incident is happened. There are special measures which could be performed to make a detection. And after gathering first information about incident, there are incident response cycle process. First of all, you need to understand malware, understand hacker techniques, and generate the first indicator of compromise. After, you should apply all of your indicators of compromise to the whole your network. Why is it important? Because you have to identify all involved systems, because hackers could be spread yourself, spread where malware, spread where techniques around the whole network. After, you have to collect more evidence, analyze it, and generate more indicators. And which is a cycle. So when you perform this cycle several times, you will get the full understanding what has really happened. For example, imagine we have a bank understands that money from one ATM has been stolen. Ways involved us to perform incident response, and we analyze one ATM, and we were able to find malware. So we immediately generate YARA rules. We immediately generate how this malware has been installed, and then we'll check our ATM. After checking our ATM, we will be able to understand from which part of bank networks with malware has been spread. And the results of incident response process is report which contains recommendations. It contains timeline, how it happened, why it happened, the exactly impact, what data is stolen, and this report could be used to improve your security measures. If we're talking more deeply about incident response, there are 6 stages of incident response. First of all, it is preparation. Unfortunately, a lot of organizations, this is the first difference between expectation and the reality. A lot of organizations, a lot of huge organizations starts where preparation to incident response after the incident has happened. Because when you are in safe, when you are not under attack of hackers, you don't pay attention to be ready for incident. Then identification. It's about ability of company to identify all malware, identify tactics, techniques, and lateral moving techniques used by hackers. Localization is about how to isolate some network segments, how to isolate servers, how to isolate compromised laptop, and how to isolate your network not from internet, but from hackers. Unfortunately, sometimes if organization is not ready to localizate, is not ready to incident response, sometimes huge organizations have to stop all connections between network and internet. Irradiation is performing in IOC and searching around. Irradiation is about using IOC to delete malware. Recovery after incident, you have to make some measures to restore your network to continue normal work. And conclusion is very important part when a lot of leadership and a lot of staff talking about what has happened, what measures should be do after incident, and how organization can learn lessons from incidents which have happened. And there are a lot of differences between incident response 5 or 10 years ago and what at Group IB we're doing now. For example, incident response 5 years ago contains a lot of deep forensic investigation. So it looks like we collect a lot of forensic images. We use special software, special hardware to provide forensically image, and then we spend a lot of time to process these images, to analyze all logs, and sometimes incident response report looks like several forensic reports about one incident in different laptops. And isolating is were done like quick computer shutdown, because everybody afraid of hackers inside the network. So the first reaction when you see malware inside your laptop is to shut down this one. Why that was so? Because hackers 5 years ago used one multi-function malware, one or two, or maybe several, but it's like a bot who can be used to perform several actions on laptops to allow hackers manipulate your data. And there are only several laptops, several infected hosts inside organization. But now, when we perform incident response, we can say that in most cases, there are the whole network under compromise. So we concentrate not on deep forensic investigation, we concentrate on generating IOC and automatically perform searching by this IOC, because it's impossible to provide deep forensic investigation to 100, several hundred laptops, several hundred servers. So you need to use PowerShell or special agents or special EDR to understand everything what has happened around the whole network. And apart from forensic images, we're collecting volatile data. Before you shut down everything, you have to make a dump of malicious process. For example, you can see malicious proxy inside your server, and this proxy has been running around 1 or 2 months, and a lot of volatile data, a lot of hackers' actions stored only in the memory of this proxy process. And unfortunately, hackers changed their techniques from using custom malware. We're moving to using penetration testing techniques. We're using public open source frameworks like Meterpreter, PowerShell Empire, or maybe not open source like OpenStrike. But you now you fight not against one bot inside your laptop. Now you fight against organizations. Our expectations are regular staff training. A lot of people who really know what they have to do, well-prepared response plan, like a book which consists answers to every questions which could be appear during incident response. Every department, every staff in every department know what their current role, and we are able to work together. And of course, our expectation is configure very good logging. So if something happens inside the organization, we will be able to find it around in some log storage or maybe in servers. But unfortunately, we at Group IB, we have seen that employee training from only for one department. In most cases, it's information security department. And but if you do incident response in huge organization, you need not only information security department. Sometimes you need staff which responsible for servers, responsible for users PC. Sometimes you need to involve some guys who are responsible for processing system. And the most incident response plans which we have seen is absolutely less. It's like a paper with some general paragraph which this paper doesn't give answers to, for example, for question, what should I do if my domain controller is compromised? Should I turn it off, or should I perform a forensic readiness? And nobody knows. And when you involved in incident response, you don't have a lot of time to think. You don't have a lot of time to plan. So you need to have existing very good plan. And nobody cares before incident. Nobody cares about logging. For example, it's almost impossible to understand how much traffic have been done from one server to another server, because nobody cares about traffic inside the network. Sometimes organizations are caring about traffic between servers and internet, but hackers can use a lot of tools like traffic forwarder. So I have several cases when I absolutely confident what data has been stolen from 1, 2, or 3 servers, but I wasn't able to calculate to understand what data exactly has been stolen. And no backing up or some backups are lost. This is the most important thing when we're talking about encryption, when we're talking about ransomware. For example, we have a lot of cases when we're asking staff from banks, do you have backups for this encrypted server? And they answer us, yes, we have backups, but unfortunately, we're encrypted too. So we advise to every company to perform a daily backup, weekly backup, monthly backup, and you have to have some like 3-month backup. And when I'm talking about backup, I'm not talking about your data, because you don't need your data if you do incident response. But backup of logs of security events logs, backup of logs of proxy logs, backup of server logs is very, very important. Sometimes I can say that if I have enough logs, if I have enough backups, I can answer almost every question about the hackers' actions inside your network. So the first stage, expectation of identification, is well-prepared network firewalls, IDS. We have anti-malware tools on every host. Sometimes we have EDR, and everything is logging. And we expect that we can fastly searching our IOC in all of these security solutions. But in reality, some logs are not maintained. We don't know why. Nobody analyzes these logs in 24/7 process, and detections only at the host perimeter layer. For example, if hackers perform some lateral move, if hackers are already inside, nobody monitor their activity, because sometimes it's difficult to separate the system administrator activity and hackers activity. For example, I'm not sure, but I think you are not able to answer to perform a quick answer. What exactly in after-runs in every laptops inside your whole network? But this question is very important when you do incident response. And organization, for example, doesn't care about event log analysis of authorization in Active Directory. Of course, it's very hard. It's very hard to analyze everything of it. And unfortunately, we have seen that antivirus logs are ignored too. For example, in one of my case, when I have been involved against silence, I requested antivirus log from all ATMs, and they give it to me. And I have seen all malware which have been detected by antivirus on ATM, and nobody have seen it. And are you sure that your staff who are responsible for antivirus really care about detection, about what exactly antivirus detects? In my cases, information security staff more care about how many antivirus are installed. We care about, but every laptop has their endpoint engines, and they don't initiate incident responses. We see really dangerous detection. At the second stage, in expectations, we have that every organization could detect and switching off all compromised hardware. But sometimes switching off compromised hardware is really impossible because hackers sometimes could decided to install their malware on a really critical business server, and you are not able to switch off every of your servers. RAM imaging and bit-by-bit data copies by one button if I wanted. For example, if patching in expectation, if we see some security gaps between, and if we see that hackers use special vulnerabilities, we want one button via group policy, and we want an organization to patch all laptops. Changing passwords is not easy task, and for example, sometimes in organization we could have special servers, and a lot of critical software could be run via these servers, and it's almost impossible to change password for these servers because of a lot of dependencies, and business will stop if you change password for one user. And unfortunately, hackers could use this user, and it's very hard to stop their activity if you are not able to change the password. And in reality, organization has nothing to use for detection. We just can share us antivirus logs, but we're not able to, for example, to find every new files which have been created by special user. A lot of compromised hardware is used for critical business processes, and migration activities are not established. If we're talking about legacy, there are a lot of problems when organization doesn't know about how many servers they have, how many laptops they have, what exactly operating system we installed. And sometimes, as I said, there are no possibility to change password. For example, one case, increasing interest in brokerage system. If you're looking at timeline, it's with this incident have been made by Corker Group. The start of incident is about September 18, and then where it took only 14 minutes to perform attack. So we performed a lot of preparation, several months of preparation, several months of correcting data, because we had to develop new models for their trends, and only 14 minutes takes to hackers to perform attack. And if you will be involved in incident response, like for instance like this, you should be sure that you will have every log inside every laptop, inside every involved server from September 18. Because if you have logs only from December, it will be impossible to understand how we intrude your network. At the first stage, liquidation, our expectation is easy deleting malicious software, deleting mechanisms that allow an attacker to gain a foothold in a system. And our expectation is, okay, guys, we have found new admin, we have found all C2, CNC, please block all of them. And sometimes answer is our firewall solutions are able to block only the domain. We are not able to block IP. And this is a really important question, because sometimes malware doesn't use domain. Malware use only IP address, and it's very, very hard to manage it. In reality, attackers can use in-house system administration software like VMware, sometimes RDP or TeamViewer, and you are not able to separate activity from system administrator or hackers. And sometimes when we absolutely confident that hackers use a special version of VMware, and our suggestion is very easy. Let's check where VMware is running, and after that we understand where hackers are. But unfortunately, most of all system administrator, most of all stuff in help desk use with VMware. So we have to develop another way to detect hacker. And it's very hard to identify, to delete infection mechanism with ILS malware. Imagine you have malware only in memory and several servers. It's hard to find it, and it's also hard to delete it, because sometimes you are not able to stop not only a server, but you are not able to stop only one process, because sometimes processes are very critical. And blocking IP address and C2 domains requires reverse engineering of the test samples. I don't know a lot of organizations who are not information security vendors who has dedicated malware analysis team to analyze domains inside malware. And one more challenge is using non-typical techniques like DNS over SSL tunnels and so on. You should be absolutely confident that your security solution, your firewalls, are able to block every activity which hacker can use outside your network. At the fourth stage is recovery. It's very important stage to be sure that hackers, that you have been seeing every activity of hackers. For example, at my right side of screen, money taker, one of my favorite cases. One of Americans' largest banks robbed twice in a month, because the hackers state special software like I don't remember exactly, like a shielded task which will be started after 1 month after incident, and sometimes you're not able to identify every hacker's activity. And of course, you block currently C2, you block current malware, you find current user, and you delete almost everything. But hackers could return to your network if you will miss only one part of the infrastructure. If you miss only one channel which hackers use to communicate from your network to the C2. And at the C stage is conclusion. What did the incident happen? Why did the incident happen? Is it because of security gaps in your staff training? Maybe you didn't pay attention to spare phishing emails, or maybe you didn't patch your system enough. How to make sure it doesn't happen again? If you will not perform incident response, if you will not see everything which hackers use, you will not be able to block this activity if it will appear again. What cybersecurity systems are lacking is a very important question, and you definitely should have answers for it. And how to rebuild the infrastructure? Sometimes hackers use not only, sometimes hackers don't steal money, they don't steal data, but sometimes hackers want to make an impact to you. And it's very important to understand how you will be able to rebuild the organization. And what training do the employees need? Every time when incident has happened, it's kind of good for you to use it for train your employees to improve your incident response process, because you have already spent a lot of money for hackers because hackers stole it. So you should use reports, you should as a lesson learned for every organization. And how to be ready for incident response. To perform good incident response, you have to have cybersecurity incident response experts, guys who understand tactics, techniques, procedures of hackers who are really in this area, who understand everything. You have to have malware analysts who are able to understand malware capabilities, to understand how many C2 inside malware, and specialists in local networks and network hardware are also have to be included in this team, because sometimes hackers use compromised Cisco routers when they set up tunnels, and analysts sometimes are not able to understand network configuration of some router. Windows and Linux system administration experts should be involved too, because we're able to understand, we're able to separate activities from hackers and system administrator, and we used to run special software via PSExec or via PowerShell or group policy to searching IOC. Of course, because of you have a lot of guys inside this team, you need somebody who will coordinate them. And technical writer is also needed for incident response, because sometimes cybersecurity expert or malware analyst are not able to provide very clear report which could be understandable for your leadership, for your staff who are not has a lot of experience in this area. But I can share you some customers' ideas which we have been seeing during our activity. Number one, I really love it. It's recording activity of user who is working via terminal server. In this case, hackers get access to terminal server, but unfortunately for them, every actions has been recorded, and we got like a movie when we were able to see every comment which hackers send via terminal, and it was one of the easiest case for incident response because every activity is recorded, so you just have to see the video and write a report and check their actions, and you absolutely confident what we have done so far. Software for checking integrity of foreign style programs and monitoring of launches from non-typical directories. It's my blue dream because it's very hard task to understand how very hard task to search install programs and programs which run from non-typical directories. So if you have some solutions which give you this capability, it's very good idea to install it. Separate local administrator password on every computer to be received via record keeping system. So it means that you have a special system, and if your administrator want to perform some actions on the server or on laptop, he needs to on this record keeping system place where his credentials and reason why he wants this password, and it's very easier to understand to separate activity from hackers and system administrator, because if you have only one domain administrator and everybody uses it, everybody knows this password, and hackers use it, and hackers know this password, it's very hard task to understand where hackers were and where your system administrator were. And blacklist not only for HTTP and HTTPS, but blacklist for DNS. It's not easy for several solutions, but sometimes we have seen that organizations have special proxy server which could block only HTTP. And but hackers really love to use DNS. Really like to use some protocols that could be encapsulated in DNS, so you have to have ability to work with traffic. So what Group IB could do for all of these things, how we can delete the security gaps. We have incident response readiness assessment service. When our team goes to customers' network, goes to and working on site, we provide assessment of network. Because we have experience how hackers do their actions, and we know where is stored logs which we will need when we will do incident response. And we could assess your team's ability of your teams to work together, ability of your teams to work against modern threats. And of course, because we have seen a lot of incident response plans, we definitely know how good incident response plan should look like. And of course, we are able to provide assessment of organizational structure and responsibilities allocation between employees. So most of all of these modules provided to you as trainings or well-documented roadmap, action plans, how you should change your network, how should you change your login, backup, etc. And what stage in our incident response readiness assessment? First of all, it's preparation. We discuss requirements as customer server for a particular client. We provide timeline and procedures. We provide how it looks like. Then we provide assessment. how we provide assessment. It looks like the APT response simulations without APT. We have a special table for different types of incidents, and we ask your staff to do task requests to get data typical for different incidents. For example, if we have incident from blackmail or spear phishing, we test your staff for ability to get all emails with attachment for with and with dates. And then we analyze of availability and speed up which this data can be received. For example, of course, if we ask your staff if we have logs for this time period, logs of proxy, in most cases we answer yes, we have it stored in our CIM, etc. But ask them, please provide me with logs and check the time. Sometimes we could give you this information, but it takes 2 days. Everything will be happen if hackers inside the network during 2 days. 2 days is impossible. It's very impossible. It's not good for getting data. Of course, you have this data, but 2 days for getting this data is not okay. And we provide internal documents review. We will be sure that everybody knows their current role, everybody knows what to do, everybody knows, everybody has knowledge and ability what we should to do. It could be after this incident response readiness assessment, it could save you several days for incident response. And sometimes you don't have any days, you have 6 hours. So you need your staff to be really efficient. So as a result of these efforts, we provide recommendations how to configure a system for effective response. We don't provide recommendation about how to patch your system to close vulnerabilities. We don't provide recommendation how to improve security of your network. But we provide recommendation how make your network to be more effective in incident response. And we will provide actionable response plan, which you definitely will be able to use. We complete documents and we provide incident response training for companies, employees. We provide 2 days training programs. For the day one is like a high level incident response. What exactly is cyber crime trends nowadays, processes and stage of incident response, methods to identify how you could generate IOC, how you could run this IOC, how you could generate new IOC according to your findings. And to the day 2, we provide 2 models of our training programs. It's RAM investigations and network forensics, because we believe that most valuable data is inside RAM and inside network, inside network logs. So it's 1 hour, or it's 8 hour when our staff works with your staff. We execute our examples. And after these 2-day training programs, we will be able to find malware inside, find anomalous behavior, malware inside, and so on. So if you have any questions, you are free to ask me. Thank you.